great need for discipleship, not just making believers and how many people have accepted Christ today, but helping them grow in an understanding of who they are in Christ.
Evangelism is constant. There's, no country is totally evangelized.
Right.
There's not.
Sure.
But what's lacking in a lot of countries where evangelism has just been the biggest part, which in this country, that's one of them. For 100 years, evangelism has been the emphasis. What's been lacking is now you don't have the leaders that are mature enough to lead the churches.
Right.
They're leading the churches, and what they're doing is they're taking their messed up doctrine or their messed up beliefs or their superstitious beliefs intertwined with their doctrine, and they're transmitting those beliefs to the congregation, and it's even the whole works theology. There's a lot of works theology even in the evangelical churches.
Would you say an example of that would be in Presa Campesina, maybe? Because I know Noel Danny has gone up there to help the pastor to, instead of giving, and his words were kind of like the teaching is a little shallow, and now he's coming in and sharing with baptism, communion, some of the basic theological ordinance that we do. They're basic, and giving some more in-depth teaching to these simple people.
Well, I think that we have a view of church throughout the world that's maybe a little bit skewed. I don't think U.S. Christianity realizes how educated U.S. Christianity is, both on a secular level and on a biblical level. I think you have a lot of Sunday school teachers in your church that would be just great pastors somewhere else.
Right, just because of what they know.
Because of what they have.
And they know more than most pastors do here.
Because they just had the books and the constant, the continuity of education and so we've had people in our Mobile Bible Institute that,
I was going to say MBI,
other than reading the Bible, they never read. They never read any other. They don't own any other book. They never, and so it's one of the reasons why we try to get them into books and make them read and give them Tylenol during the week so they because their head's killing them because they've read half a book this week, And it's a challenge. Just the analytical thinking. I don't think you guys realize the analytical thinking, how it's developed and how it applies to the Bible. That you can have a really good discussion about a Bible text because people are accustomed to look at words and reading comprehension and just how all that comes into play. That's just a huge benefit for American Christianity. And there's a disconnect here on the relationship.
Here the education is rote memory, which is you just tell me what I'm supposed to memorize. I'll memorize it and then I'll regurgitate it back to you. And so even in the church, people are just expecting the pastor to think for them.
Give me the right answer.
Give me the right answers, but they may not apply those to their life because they don't necessarily understand how to apply those. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they clearly understand how, they just don't want to. But many times they cannot make, like Kim said, they cannot connect the two, the truth that they're learning in church to their daily lives.
But part of that is youth. Part of that is the church is young. The church is, like we were talking about in the car, it's just 100 years old.
Right.
And so that's not that long as far as with church itself, and not just believer develops, but the church itself develops to the point where it can disciple itself and teach itself and train its own leaders and just allow it to multiply and become missionaries. Just that whole process takes some amount of time. And there's, I think, me personally, and this is one of the reasons why you'll notice that as World Reach Team, we're in just a diverse group and a different types of churches. Even for us personally, we see the danger now at this stage of our life, the danger of formality, the formality of church many times really gets in the way of relationships. And I'm convinced that every biblical truth is about a relationship. It's about your relationship
with people.
That relationship with God, how we relate to each other, and how that, and so many times that for me, the dress it up and pretend that everything's cool and present that facade is a real problem, and it keeps real relationships from being formed. And if we don't have real relationships, I can't help you with your personal life. You can't help me, and we don't allow people to come in our home and see how
How it really is.
We're not a perfect family, but we like to have people in our home and eat together and just see that you can get along. And I think that's just a basic great. You can be nice. You can have friends with people. You can be friends with people who are not believers, and just those really basic things that I think the more developed church in different parts of the world doesn't see.
Would you say that TimKathee is kind of like a mirror image of many of the other Honduran cities?
I think so.
So what you have here is
its differences, but yeah, no, I think
okay.
it is.
Yeah, I don't see anything about TimKathee that wouldn't be typical.
Okay. Not just Honduras, but even Central and Latin America.
Better. Actually, TimKathee may be in a little better situation
Really?
because of opportunity. Because you have a seminary in town, or you have a handful. There's a lot of education. There's more high schools here than than in most places.
Right, and World Reach is here. We have eight great team families that are diverse in their work, as you guys have said, great diversity, touching different points within the community at large. And through that, I believe by God's grace, through the work that you guys are doing, it is slowly but changing lives and changing, by God's grace, the community at large.
Well, sure, there's a process, and even in our Mobile Bible Institute, working with leaders and finding out what they really believe and finding out how they really live their lives, and you just see, you can see some lights come on when you challenge the typical way that maybe they've thought about what church is and can be, and it can be quite the shock for them. It can be difficult for them to realize, like we know, you and I know really well that the church is not a building, for example.
Right.
But if you walk into a group of 40, 50 pastors, we had a chance to teach sometimes, and you look and you're in a church building, and you say to them, you know what, guys, this is just not a real special place. This is shocking. Because it's not. There's nothing special about the place.
Yeah.
It's the church of Jesus is a special group of people because it's the Church of Jesus. And
so you challenge them.
So these are, you would say, pastors. Pastors would do that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's pastors who would react.
Wow.
Very negative way.
Just as the Catholic Church teach the people that the church is the temple, the building.
They use the word temple. Very
and
often.
that you have to behave a certain way.
Okay.
Respectful is I'm okay. I'm good with that. Okay. People
Right.
be respectful wherever you are. But even the idea that like this is holy ground. And so what happens is people will attend the service and they'll act a certain way because they think, okay, I got to act this way to please God. And they don't realize that they are the church, they are the temple, and that when they're in the supermarket or when they're laying in bed at night, they should be seeking to please God and glorifying God then as well. So even we had a question asked in one of our services, lady, because we have a dialogue kind of service, not a typical preaching service. Lady was talking about dressing, and we were talking about clothing, and that the purpose of being informal is that you can come like you are. You're not putting on any facades. You're not coming being tempted to try to impress people, because you spend all this time fixing yourself up. And so she began to talk about, well, no, I don't think a girl should come here with a really short skirt on and a really low cut shirt. And of course, Tim's point, he's the one that addressed it, said she shouldn't go anywhere like that.
She should wear that anywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
If it's wrong for her to wear that here, it's wrong for her to wear that, period. And so, and you could see that she was, her mind was ticking, thinking, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
So there is a disconnect that you got to help them connect those two and realize that your Christian life is to be lived out 24/7.
24/7. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. Good. It's kind of an impromptu type thing that just happened there.
I've been sitting here looking at this shot that would be perfect.